This episode is brought to you by Kia's first 3-row all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults, with a 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute and available reclining lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
I'm Mo Rocca, and I'm excited to announce Season 4 of my podcast, Mobituaries. I've got a whole new bunch of stories to share with you about the most fascinating people and things who are no longer with us. From famous figures who died on the very same day, to the things I wish would die, like buffets. All that and much more. Listen to Mobituaries with Mo Rocca wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm the only appreciator of cinema. I've been the only one to file a movie 8 times. The rest of you 2, 4. Like, get out of here.
No. That's
You're the only one of the 3 of us to file it.
right. That just speaks to your.
But I'm picking stuff that's good and I like.
It's just funny because I thought that's what I was doing, but come to find out,
Please, you're doing that left and
no,
right.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm picking movies that everybody likes.
Not really.
Dude, who else has higher numbers?
You're getting a lot of files out of Zach.
You've twice as many negative sweeps as I do.
No. Let's just look at overall. Look at overall.
You do.
You like 77% of my picks. Maze likes 43% of my picks, right? Maze only likes 29% of your picks, Zach. Zach, you only like 33% of Maze picks.
The guy who filed Hot Rod, I'm devastated he doesn't like my picks.
I'm just saying, like, I have the most appealing to the crew, to everybody.
Do you?
Yes.
Or you're the biggest bully.
I'm not a bully. I pick good movies.
I will file a movie whether it's good or not. You've got a strategy of trying to make your own picks look good.
You like 93% of your picks. What are you talking about?
Yes, but I like 77% of yours. You're a bad teammate. You don't see the good in the movies that I pick. 21%, I mean.
You pick terrible movies.
Do I?
You do.
Oh, because here's an interesting little quote from you, is that you hadn't realized how nice it is to watch a Nick Cage-made movie until you've watched some of these other things. Well, guess who's picking Nick Cage movies, motherfucker? Me.
I've grown to kind of appreciate more as I've seen worse movies, but that doesn't mean like I'm going back and giving Wicker Man a thumbs up.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, because we had such a terrible time with Wicker Man.
Yes, we did, actually. I mean, I did.
Did we? It's a good movie. Gets you to think. It gets you to think about the patriarchy, you know?
Your picks have been horrible, man.
It's the point. It's the point of the show.
Isn't
it? Isn't it? It's possible. I don't understand what this podcast is about.
Poppycock. It's a fuck house.
On a weekly basis, we are consuming more concentrated bad movies than probably anybody in the history of mankind.
Poppycock.
What story? What story? What are you talking about?
Do you want lunch?
I have yet to laugh in this movie. I'll just tell you that.
You picked it, motherfucker. So just remember that.
You know the problem with Hollywood is? They make shit. Unbelievable, unremarkable shit.
I was legitimately offended.
You were offended?
I was offended.
I didn't know you could get offended.
I was offended.
This did it.
If I were gay, I wouldn't be offended.
They're fucking making shit up, I mean.
Inconsequential detail after inconsequential detail after inconsequential detail.
Bees don't lie.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm holding a mic in my hands, and now I'm talking all alone.
Welcome to Cinephobe, the podcast where we break down the movies you're afraid to admit you love. I'm Zach Harper, that's Amin and that's Anthony Mayes. If you have a submission, reminder, needs to be 40% or lower on Rotten Tomatoes for either the audience score or the critic score, not anything above that. This week on Cinephobe, we watched the 2014 comedy western, A Million Ways to Die in the West. Stars Seth MacFarlane as he heads a monster of a cast. Absolute monster. You know Seth from creating Family Guy, Created American Dad, The Cleveland Show. He also did Ted 2. He was in Tooth Fairy. Do you know that?
The Rock?
Yeah, with The Rock. And he's also in an episode of Will and Grace as a pencil sharpener early in his career.
Okay.
There you go. We also get Charlize Theron.
Theron?
What is it?
I don't know.
Maze, what is it?
It's Theron.
It's Theron?
That's the wrong pronunciation.
I mean, you want to look up her Wikipedia dating profile now or later?
It's funny. While watching this, these are all pretty actresses. I don't have a big crush on any of them.
What?
Like Amanda Seyfried, I thought about it. I was like, would I date Amanda Seyfried? And I said, only if I knew she was Amanda Seyfried. If she's just a regular girl, I'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever. But like, she's Amanda Seyfried, like, oh yeah, look, I'm in the Hollywood scene. I'm dating Amanda Seyfried. Like, I would definitely, if you see me dating her, basically is what I'm saying, you know I'm being like a hype beast at that point.
Uh-huh.
It's not because I was so smitten.
Yeah, that classic Amanda Seyfried hype beast culture.
I mean, I'm just saying, Charlize Theron, like if I had to rank, not that we do that on this podcast, but if I had to rank,
boy, this is getting bad.
I'd go Charlize 1, Sarah Silverman 2, and Amanda Seyfried 3.
Okay.
But maybe it's because I like Sarah Silverman. I think she's funny, so I don't know.
Charlize is ridiculous looking. I can't believe this. I've seen her in person.
Yeah?
I've seen her in person. She's ridiculous looking.
Really?
I got upgraded to first class. I was flying, must have been Miami to LA or something like that. And across the row from me was Charlize and Sean Penn.
Oh, for me, it was Killer Mike on one flight, and another flight, it was Nick Cannon. So not quite the...
I mean, same star power.
Yeah.
Not the same amount of Oscars, I think. I think that's a little different. But you know Charlize from The Fate of the Furious, The Italian Job, Hancock, and Arrested Development. Maze, please drop the Mr. F. Actually, that might be a lot of production for you. I don't know if you want to do that, but
Mr. F. She was actually bald during this movie because she was shooting Mad Max. There's all wigs.
Oh, how about that? Yeah. Also won an Oscar for Monster. People may know her from that.
Not a good movie.
I watched Hancock the other day. That's a good movie.
Hancock starts strong and then it kind of peters out. The start to Hancock is unbelievable.
Peter Berg's out.
Peter Berg's out, yeah.
Put it back in, guys. If you watch the uncensored director's cut of Hancock, way more racy. There are so many scenes in there that they deleted. I was like, oh my God. Because I remember watching it and I was like, I don't remember this in the theater at all.
Okay. I'll have to check that out. I think it's only on Netflix right now. That's where I watched it. We also get, as you mentioned, Amanda Seyfried. She's from Mean Girls and Mamma Mia. Liam Neeson from Taken, Taken 2, Schindler's List, and Taken 3.
No.
That's too far.
Too far.
Giovanni Ribisi, his career goes back to 1985. He was on an episode of Highway to Heaven. That's how long Giovanni Ribisi's been acting.
Is he a good actor or not?
I like him.
Yes, I think he's good.
I think the first time I saw him was Friends, when he's like Phoebe's brother.
He's in That Thing You Do, Saving Private Ryan, Gone in 60 Seconds. He's in all 5 Avatar movies.
Zach, how do you feel about Gone in 60 Seconds?
All 5?
Do you know there's 5 of them?
Gone in 60 Seconds?
No, 5 Avatar movies.
No. I'm saying, like, how do you feel about Gone in 60 Seconds? Because I feel like your loyalties must be torn. It's a Nicolas Cage movie, but it is also the original stolen car movie that, like, Fast and Furious clearly ripped off.
No. If Fast and Furious ripped anything off, it's Point Break.
Yeah.
I like it, but a lot of people love that movie. And when you mention Nicolas Cage, like, oh, Gone in 60 Seconds, and I don't think it's one of his stronger movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at Zach. What's the discerning taste of the man who likes 93% of his own picks.
Well, I picked the ones that are good.
Good luck, Chuck.
We get Neil Patrick Harris from Starship Troopers. We get Sarah Silverman from Wreck-It Ralph. Ewan McGregor's in this movie?
Okay, so I'll tell you what scene when we come to it.
Gilbert Godfrey from Problem Child, Cinephobe classic. And we also get Seth MacFarlane writing and directing this movie. It's his second directing job.
You're going to mention Gilbert Gottfried and you're not going to mention Christopher Lloyd?
Well, I mean, there are these cameos that pop up as we go. Like,
spoiler alert.
Jamie Foxx?
We'll get to it.
Again, a spoiler. Like, I was going to mention in the flow of the movie, but...
Okay. Well, why didn't you mention Gilbert Gottfried up front then?
He's not a cameo. He plays a character.
So do they.
No, they're doing cameos from other movies. We're getting bogged down. All right.
Gilbert Gottfried's doing a cameo too from the movie Lincoln.
It was his second directing job between both the Ted movies. Same with writing. Alec Sulkin and Wellesley Wild. They also get writing credits. They've been working on stuff with Seth for a long time with writing. Synopsis for A Million Ways is, as a cowardly farmer begins to fall for the mysterious new woman in town, he must put his newly found courage to the test when her husband, a notorious gunslinger, announces his arrival.
You know how, like, right now the big thing on Twitter is to say, like, describe your favorite play ever, but boring, right? Or describe whoever wrote that synopsis was participating in that.
That's the new, like, which table are you picking?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's dumb. And it's just how you know it's dumb. If you see something and then everyone's doing it, then all of a sudden you see brands do it.
Yes.
Or, like, teams do it.
Like ESPN does it. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh, describe your favorite Rockets play, but boring. If you as a team account start typing that, you know it's too late. You need to turn back.
Tagline from the guy who brought you Ted.
It is.
The other one was bring protection. $40 million estimated budget. Grossed 43.1 US,
no,
87.1 worldwide. That's a hit.
I mean, I guess that's a success, but
I honestly didn't remember it doing that well. Those numbers actually shocked me the other way.
Okay.
Before we jump to this movie and listening to the rest of the podcast, Million Ways is available on demand for AT&T and DirecTV subscribers, or I guess you can rent it, right? I think that's the other way.
Or the FX app.
Rotten Tomatoes score. Million Ways to Die in the West receives 33% from critics on 205 reviews. A lot of reviews in this one. And 41% from the audience on over 64,000 ratings.
Philistines.
You want the positive or the negative reviews?
You know, I'm a glass half full kind of guy, so give me the positives.
Wow, everybody's just thinking about the negative. Well, I think the glass is half full. Everybody thinks it's half empty.
Stephen Whitty of Newark Star Ledger. It's well made, often and outrageously funny, and manages to keep up the pace and interest for nearly 2 hours. Clearly, there's more to McFarlane than a bad Oscar show, Ted, and some Fox TV tunes.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. What's the Seth MacFarlane hate about? I don't understand this.
He was saying it was going too far. He was on your side.
No, he wasn't. No, that's just a backhanded compliment. Don't fall for it, Maze. Oh, apparently there's more to him than like this dumb movie about a teddy bear and like some shows that are on Fox and the time he hosted the Oscars. I'm like, yo, stop it, man.
I didn't think the Oscars were that bad when he did it.
I didn't think it either, but you know.
But I like it every time Ricky Gervais does the Golden Globes.
I mean, he's the best. Yeah.
Chris Nashawati of Entertainment Weekly. McFarlane, who wrote the script with Alex Sulkin and Wellesley Wild, keeps the gags flying like hot lead out of a Colt 45, and for every 3 that don't land, 1 or 2 hit the bullseye.
It's my Wadi. That's Nashawati.
Kyle Smith of the New York Post. McFarlane is just passable as a leading man, but as a director and co-writer with 2 others, he has a wider comic imagination than Blazing Saddles. For every so-so gag, there are 3 genius ones.
Okay, like why? I like the movie. Why is this guy going to say something like that and just sound ridiculous?
With the Blazing Saddles?
The Blazing Saddles part, and also like, oh, he's not much of a leading man. It's like, is this the type of movie that you wanted, like someone with a square jaw and like, oh, he's so dreamy? Like, is that what you were looking at?
I mean, he's not a good actor, but he is passable. Like, he's not distracting in any way.
Good actor. All right, we'll get into it later.
You're going to notice a lot of Blazing Saddles references here.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Roper of RichardRoper.com. One long joke.
Mr. Roper.
One long joke about how much it would have sucked to live and die at a relatively young age in the Old West. Not really a review. It's kind of a recap. Brandon Judell of Culture Catch. Where's Gene Wilder when you need him? What McFarlane has achieved falls somewhere between Blazing Saddles and Blazing Saddles. How is that a positive review?
Okay, someone give me a gun. I'll give you a million ways to die writing a review.
And then the last positive, Brad Keefe of Columbus Alive. Is this the next Blazing Saddles? No, but there are enough silly laughs sprinkled throughout if you're into this brand of comedy.
Again, these are not positive reviews. Oh, if you're into that sort of thing, like if you like a corn on the cob shoved up your ass, this might be the place for you, but I don't know. Like, I don't like those kind of reviews, man.
What's funny is I don't feel like when other people pick movies and we get this kind of review that Amin has this reaction, Maze.
This movie is Amin's dream, to write a movie where you just walk around, crack jokes, and flirt with Charlize Theron for 2 hours.
Except he doesn't really like her.
I like. She's all right.
It'd be Eva Mendes in his version.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Well.
Or Marissa Tomei, or Gina Gershon,
or all 3.
Salma Hayek.
Time for the negative reviews. Jake Wilson of Sydney Morning Herald. The problem isn't just that McFarlane is a bad actor, but that Anna's character makes absolutely no sense. But it made perfect sense.
He's Australian. Maybe he's just confused.
David Edelstein of New York Magazine and Vulture. Some of the gags do land, maybe 1 in 4. But the genre parody genre with big stars and poop jokes needs a little more class than McFarlane is capable of providing.
Oh, ooh, excuse me. See, like there's a definite anti-McFarlane thing in the movie critic community. They just don't like him. I don't know why.
I like how all these guys are throwing out different percentages.
Yeah, it's a lot of weird ratios here.
We got a 3 out of 4 from the positive guy. That one was a 1 out of 4.
We had a 1 to 2 to 3, positive to negative. Yeah. David McGinn of Globe and Mail. Yes, there are a million ways to die in the West. Boredom shouldn't be one of them.
No, come on. Like, it wasn't... Oh,
I actually kind of thought that was clever. Carrie Darling of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. If there was a shootout... Darling. If there were a shootout in Hollywood comedic corral between Blazing Saddles and the new kid in town, A Million Ways to Die in the West, it's not even a contest. Brooks Classic would chase the upstart out of town with a backside full of lead. There's a lot of reviews comparing it to Blazing Saddles, which made me wonder, did Seth MacFarlane say he was making the new Blazing Saddles before this came out? Like, to me, I mean, if we're doing that, then every player who comes in the NBA, we say, well, that's not Michael Jordan.
We do that
he
already.
Sucks.
We do that.
Oh, okay. Peter Howell of the Toronto Star. Your mileage may vary depending on your enthusiasm for his smirking frat boy comedy.
Does have smirking frat boy comedy. That I cannot deny.
Yes. Joe Williams of the St. Louis Dispatch. I'm going to get into character for this one. Round these parts, when a movie promises 1 million laughs but only delivers 12 chuckles, that's a hanging offense.
Oh, man. I wish we had Ian Carmel right now to read that review in the voice of Sam Elliott.
Final one, Tony Hicks of the San Jose Mercury News. If McFarlane was hoping to make a new generation's Blazing Saddles, he failed amid an avalanche of dumb.
It sounds like these people were all told, you're going to go watch Blazing Saddles.
Glad all these movie reviewers saw Blazing Saddles. Congrats, guys.
Yeah.
By the way, fantastic movie. Love Blazing Saddles. Still holds up. Classic.
Well,
all right.
It holds up, but it definitely is not, cannot. Yeah.
Amin, what's your first note?
I don't think I've ever done this. File. Then I go on to say, after careful review, I realized, I never knew this about myself, but I think I do. I love Westerns. I really like Westerns because I started thinking about it. We open with the sweeping panoramics of, the Southwest. And I'm like, wow, that's really beautiful. It reminds me like I went to Sedona last year with my family. We walked around and stuff. And I was like, oh, man, I love this. I thought about Blazing Saddles. I thought about 3:10 to Yuma. I thought about Back to the Future 3. I thought about Red Dead Redemption. And I'm like, you know what? I like Westerns.
Season 1 of Westworld.
Right.
Season 1 of Westworld. Absolutely. I love Season 1 of Westworld. And I realized, man, I really like Westerns. Like I never would have thought that about myself.
I mean, when the trip was over, did you say, so done that? You know what's interesting about Westerns is I always get distracted by them because of what this movie hits on, where I'm just like, it would be miserable to live in this time. Like, there's no part of me that romanticizes the Wild West.
Okay, so I don't well, I kind of do because I love Red Dead Redemption because I love the idea of riding around, shooting people I didn't like, helping strangers.
Sure.
Shooting them after I'd helped them. Fishing, hunting.
Oh, murders. You're talking about nothing but murder so far.
I mean, what about like old Westerns, like John Wayne stuff? Have you ever watched those?
Well, I have. I must admit, I watched them when I was a kid. I never went back, like Tie Me a Yellow Ribbon and stuff like that. No.
You're not missing anything.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, A Fistful of Dollars, like all of these. I watched those and I love those. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like this weird modern Western, right? Because there was the 50s, 60s era, like, and then on the spaghetti Westerns, that was a huge thing. And that was just kind of like one of the easiest movies to make, I guess, at the time.
Spaghetti Western, yeah. You didn't even have to have everyone speak the same language.
Yeah.
You got people over here talking in Italian, guys over here talking in English. Like, we'll get it in post. What a time.
I like those Western shorts that were the angel hair pasta Westerns. It's a different kind of spaghetti.
It's the pride with which you deliver. It's not that you're delivering this joke very dryly. I would have probably laughed if you did it dry, but I can hear brimming pride in your voice. You are so fucking proud of yourself. You're so happy.
You know why? Because I'm proud that I can get this reaction out of you. I think that's what I enjoy.
Do we like Seth MacFarlane? Do you guys like Seth MacFarlane?
I don't have a problem with it. Like, I like Family Guy. I've barely watched American Dad. I've never watched The Cleveland Show. And Family Guy is like nothing I seek out.
Really?
Like, if it's on, if I come across it, like, I'll watch it, but I'm never like, all right, I'm going to sit down and watch Family Guy tonight. Like,
that's what I go to sleep to.
Yeah, like, I usually rotate through shows, but Family Guy isn't in that rotation. So I enjoy his stuff. Like, I don't think I like Ted, but I don't remember.
Ted was funny. It was very Boston, though.
Yeah, and I'm good on that.
Very unapologetically Boston. Maze, what about you?
I never had a problem with Family Guy, but it definitely wasn't like a must-watch for me when it was on. And when the South Park episode where they said the Family Guy writers were a bunch of manatees who shove cutaway bald into a joke machine, that kind of ruined it for me in a way. And that's like all I can see sometimes.
I would say I watched Family Guy religiously, like every week, like the first couple years it was on. And then it just kind of, as TV consumption changed, I didn't like keep up with it.
Wow. You know what's funny about Family Guy is I've always felt like the golden era of Family Guy was when they came back from cancellation. Like those reviews, those are funny, but they were like, okay. And then like they got canceled and they come back, and I'll never forget this. The first episode of when they came back is like, well, guys, we just got canceled. Oh no, isn't there any way we can come back? Well, I don't know. I guess if, and then they list every single Fox show that had been on since they've been canceled, and they were all terrible. The War at Home and da-da-da-da-da. If they all get canceled, I mean, I guess they could come back to us. And I was like, oh, these dudes are coming out swinging. And like, so I want to say it was like season 4 through like season like 9 or 10 were just fireball. Like, you know, these are all the great ones. These are the ones that include, again, my favorite Family Guy scene ever. They go back to the 80s to relive Peter's youth. And Brian is hitting on a girl at the bar, and the girl says, you keep talking to me, my boyfriend is going to kick your ass. And he says, that quintessentially 80s guy over there. And the guy walks up, he's got 2 collared polos, both collars popped. The shirt is tucked in, and he's got stonewashed jeans. He's like, hey, you talking to my girlfriend? I'll kick your ass anywhere, anytime. You name it, I'll be there. And Brian looks at him and says, how about 7:30 a.m., on September 11th, 2001, top of the World Trade Center. I'll be there. You think I'll forget, but I won't. They aired that shit one time. And if you go back and watch that episode now, that joke ends with the quintessentially 80s guy, and he just walks up and says, I'll kick your ass.
Wow.
That came out in 2005.
You know Seth MacFarlane was supposed to be on one of those flights?
Oh, yeah?
Have you heard that story?
No.
Apparently Seth MacFarlane was supposed to be on one of those flights. I think got drunk the night before the flight and missed the plane.
Oh, here we go. Washington Post. It was a hangover, not a layover, that kept Seth MacFarlane off American Airlines Flight 11. Wow.
But yeah, isn't that crazy to think about?
I missed it by 10 minutes, he said, of the flight. It was very, very fortunate.
That's really, really wild.
That's a very sobering turn we just did there. All right.
Back
to the silly.
My notes, and they touch on this later, is the desert looks miserable. The desert is legitimately designed to kill anything in it.
My note is they couldn't afford Sam Elliott for narrator.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard this. They sound like they got Ian Carmel. Question for you guys. Another question for you. How many things in this movie happened where you thought it and then they ended up talking about it like moments later?
I would say like half the movie.
Like nonstop.
And I don't know if that's just me being in tune with what Seth MacFarlane's humor is at this point because of Family Guy. I don't know that I've seen this movie before.
I have seen the first half hour a bunch of times.
I don't remember the second half.
I don't remember the second half either.
We're in Arizona, 1882. We've got some narration. Some people are born into the wrong time and place. This was the American frontier in 1882, a hard land for hard folk. Food was scarce, disease was rampant, and life was a daily struggle for survival. Hell, this was Miss American 1880. Holy shit. And they just put this homely middle-aged woman up there.
I laughed.
To build a home and a life in this harsh, unforgiving country required that a man be bold, fearless, and tough as iron. The men who were courageous and resilient were the men who prospered. But some men were just big, giant pussies. And that's when Seth MacFarlane comes running into the middle of town for a duel. Gunman says he's surprised he showed, and Seth says he told him he'd kill his family and burn his house if he didn't, so he had to show up.
I have admittedly a weak spot beyond Seth MacFarlane and Westerns. I love any period piece where there's a character or characters who talks normally while everyone else speaks as though they were from that period. You yellow-bellied bastard! And Seth MacFarlane's like, oh, come on. That's very offensive to our friends from the Far East.
He's trying to make him laugh with shadows looking like the gunman is blowing him.
Look at our shadows. I'll give you a little tap on the hat when I'm good to go.
Can't remember what they were fighting about. The gunman shoots at his feet, says they were dueling over his sheep grazing his land. So now he has 2 days to pay him for it or he's going to shoot him.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Will somebody shoot somebody already? I fucking skipped a half day of work for this. And Seth MacFarlane says, I just want to point out that guy's our English teacher at the school.
I like that. That's funny.
To reduce this to piss and fart jokes. Like, there's a lot of funny, like, to me, those are the funniest lines, is lines like that, where he's, all right, I don't know.
I like when Amin Peters out as he's trying to, like, I'm not against that. I feel like you're trying to sell me on something I already bought.
He's got a long movie of campaigning ahead of him, so.
Seth is talking to Amanda Seyfried, her name is Louise in the movie, about what happened, and she thinks that he should have fought him.
Louise, my God, the guy is one of the best shots around. I look like I have Parkinson's next to him.
What is that?
It's just another way God mysteriously shows that he loves us. But look, it would have been suicide to fight that
Albert,
guy.
I'm breaking up with you.
She's going to break up with him. She wants something else after a year and a half. And 7.5 minutes into this movie, we get hit with your bingo card of Seth making a retardation joke about one of his sheep that likes to go on the roof.
Yes, sir. Bridget.
We're back, baby.
We're back.
Bridget likes to get up on the roof.
People are living to 35 these days, so she wants to explore her options. And she's gone. She gets out. Giovanni Ribisi plays Edward, and he's at a saloon with flowers while we hear a prostitute getting banged out upstairs. Alex Bornstein plays a Millie. She's running the bar. Edward is here to take Ruth to a picnic, and then you hear her say, shoot that dirty cowboy cum all over my face, to which Giovanni Ribisi says, do I look okay?
Say, Edward, are you okay with your girlfriend fucking 15 guys a day and getting paid for it? Yeah, my job sucks too. Yes, but you repair shoes.
I do love Alex Borstein, who is the voice of Lois and Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah, she's great.
This was her only scene, really, which was a bummer.
Charlize Theron doesn't have good comedic timing. She's very stiff.
She was good in The Long Shot, though.
Good in The Long Shot? She's good in Arrested Development, although it's more of a character.
No, that's the character she played. But I'm talking about when she's like,
more of a Bridget.
But when she's playing someone who's supposed to be loose and funny or whatever, she's not. Like in Long Shot, it was a funny movie, but she still felt very stiff and forced and rehearsed in a way that like Alex Borstein drops that line and I'm like, that's what it looks like.
Ruth's breath smells because she had to give a blowjob.
Don't I have the best boyfriend, Millie?
Honestly, I have no fucking idea.
Bye.
Oh, hey, Ruthie, Clyde Hodgkins wanted to come by a little later on.
Well, what do you want?
I think he wants anal.
Oh, honey, we can afford to get you that new belt for church.
Oh, that'd be great.
I know.
So, like 5:30, does that work? That should work, yeah.
Well, what time's his appointment?
It's really not like a dentist's office here, Edward. You know, he'll just come by when he feels like putting his penis inside an asshole.
Yeah, so we'll just say 5:30.
Seth goes back to the ranch, walks in.
You're late.
And his dad says, you're late. For what? Fair enough. Edward and Ruth are here to console Seth. Ruth won't sip because she's got to rest her asshole after that anal appointment. We find out they hadn't invented smiling in photographs yet because he'd look like an insane person. Now they're getting fucked up at the saloon. He says there's nothing to live for in the American frontier. Everything's trying to kill you.
Yeah, let me tell you something. We live in a terrible place and time. The American West is a disgusting, awful, dirty, dangerous place. Look around you. Everything out here that's not you wants to kill you. Outlaws, angry drunk people, scorned hookers, hungry animals, diseases, major and minor injuries, Indians, the weather. You can get killed just going to the bathroom. I take my life in my hands every time I walk out to my outhouse. There's fucking rattlesnakes all in the grass out there. And even if I make it, you know what can kill me? Cholera. You know cholera?
The black shit.
The black shit. The latest offering in the Frontiers Disease of the Month Club. And even if you survive all those things, you know what else can kill you? The fucking doctor. The doctor can kill you. I had a cold a couple years ago. I went in there. You know what he said to me? He goes, oh, you need an ear nail. A nail. in my fucking ear. That is modern medicine for you. Yeah, Doc, I have a fever of 102. Oh, you need a donkey kicking. You know our pastor has shot 2 people? Our pastor.
No.
Honest to God, shot a guy in a duel and then went back and killed the guy's teenage son because he was afraid he would kill him out of revenge.
Wait, how do you know that?
Because he did a whole fucking sermon about it. A lesson about seeing things through. By the way, look at this. See those guys over there? The guys who work in the silver mines? See what they're eating? Ribs doused in hot sauce. They eat hot, spicy foods every meal of the day. You know why? Because their palates are so completely fucking dulled from inhaling poison gas 12 hours a day down in the mines. That's all they can taste. You know what that kind of diet does to your guts? Constipation, cramps, dyspepsia, liver disease, kidney disease, hemorrhoids, bowel inflammation. They literally die from their own farts.
He walks them outside and says the mayor has been dead in the alley for 3 days and nobody's done anything. Then wolves drag the mayor's body away to illustrate his point.
Bye, Mr. Mayor. Bye.
Tells the guy to shut up and then gets thrown out the window of the saloon. Ruth says to talk to Louise, and he's drunkenly on his way. He's gonna drink and horse.
I'm a smucks dinning drunk.
At the end of the conversation where she basically lets him know there's no chance, I don't want to be with you. It's a throwaway line, but he says, let me just touch you.
And then he says, like, fuck off or something like that. He says, all right, I'll see you tomorrow.
You know what? I heard you fart once, and it went, and that's the first fart joke that I actually wrote down. What's the hardest breakup you guys have ever been through?
Oh, I've definitely had a couple in my life where you're kind of like pleading a little. I guess pleading, like where it's like, man, no, come on, don't do this. Like this can work and everything. I've definitely had a couple of those.
What about you, Maze?
Fucking 3 months ago, Doc.
Oh, damn.
Just happened pre-quarantine.
What happened?
We broke up. She moved out. It's over, bro.
No, but what was the conversation?
Conversation was, this is done. Move out. You get to worry about that.
That's it?
I mean, how long you want to talk? We got plenty of your jokes we got to get to.
Okay. All right. You know it's a sore spot.
No, there's definitely, this was a breakup movie, getting over your ex movie, and there were some evocative moments in there for sure.
What about you, Amin?
Oh, no, I asked these questions. I don't ever have to answer them.
I knew that was coming. An old man has gold on his cart, and Liam Neeson.
Oh, the fucking prospector.
Yeah.
I love his progress remorse. Come here, fucker. Grill up some steaks, baby.
Central Casting knocked it out the park with that guy.
Liam Neeson, Charlize Theron, and a few others cut him off looking for Sherman Creek. Liam wants him to show him the gold. He's making the old man point a gun at him so he's not a thief when he takes the gold. Says to shoot on 3, and then he gets to 2, and he shoots.
Fucking Amin.
Charlie's pissed at him. It's been days since Seth has been out of the ranch, except he said on Tuesday he paid the guy so he can get shot in the fucking face. We find out that Ruth and Edward have never had sex because they're Christians. She has sex with 10 guys every day at the whorehouse if it's a slow day. They're saving themselves for their wedding night.
Eddie's a virgin, but he might have been raped by his uncle.
Yes, that's what he's had sex before. He says some shit with my uncle, but that was a long time ago. It's really hard to remember that stuff.
Exactly.
I laughed. I thought that was a funny joke. They're in town and they see Louise with another guy, Foy, the owner of the moustachery. The giant block of ice for the town is being delivered, and they have it on a pulley system. Seth is explaining how a company in Boston cuts it and ships it, and then the rope breaks and it crushes the guy's face. He says, that went south so fast. I had seen that in the preview so many times on TV that I think if I had gone in fresh to the movie, never having seen the trailer, I would have died at that part.
Yeah, the way he's talking about how, it's
so actually really interesting.
Conversational, yeah.
Now we're at church. Charlize and Cheddar Bob are there as new brother and sister in town.
By the way, the pastor made another reference, like he said something wild and he said, and this refers right back to the part of the Bible that refers to this sort of situation.
Now we're back to the moustachery, and Neil Patrick Harris plays Foy. Louise wants to go dress shopping for the fair. Seth walks in as they're kissing, and now he's thinking about growing a mustache. A big one. A Mobius mustache.
The moustachery looks like a Bath and Body Works.
It does. It's a very costly facial accessory. Seth accuses him of stealing his girlfriend. Foy says he can give her a lavish home, warm blankets, and wrapped candies. Can you give her wrapped candies?
I can give her a lavish home, warm blankets, wrapped candies. Can you say the same? Can you give her wrapped candies? Neil Patrick Harris, as he does in all these movies, he kills it.
He's so good.
With such efficiency. Like every line he has, it's a lot of like dated references to the late 19th century, like things that would be impressive, like wrapped candies and sugared shaved butter.
He was great on the show, but he was wasted on like 10 years of How I Met Your Mother.
I've never watched that show, so I don't.
He was the best part, though.
Easily the best part. And that's a show where I never watched it until it was over, and then I went through it once, and I'll probably never go through it again, but he is phenomenal in the show.
Well, I need a director's cut that's literally just Lily Marshall stuff and Barney stuff. Just cut Ted out of the show and I'm good.
Yeah, Ted's the worst part.
What's funny about Neil Patrick Harris, who obviously rose to fame with Doogie Howser, is I never watched that show. I thought that show was corny, whatever. And even like How I Met Your Mother, I kind of like, you know my feelings on like most network sitcoms.
Yeah.
And then I remember watching Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Oh my God, he's so good in that.
Well, that's what unlocked him.
And I was like, yo, this dude is hilarious. And then ever since then, like every role he's in, he's been knocking out the park by basically playing some version of a jerk each time.
And he's also great on Broadway.
He's great on Broadway. He was great in Starship Troopers. He's great in Gone Girl. Like, he has so much range.
Oh, Gone Girl was a good one.
Charlize and Cheddar Bob walk into the saloon. Edward notices Cheddar. Then he tells Ruth they could spend the night together couple of times and think about having sex. She says they're Christians, and then he wipes some cum off her cheek.
Also, he asked her about her day. She says, oh gosh, well, like this one man wanted me to smoke a cigar and then ash on his balls while I'm jerking him off.
What? And she does the pat your head and rub your tummy at the same time. They would, again, funny. Very funny.
Seth tells him he's done. He's going to San Francisco because of Louise. He hates the frontier. And he's given Edward his favorite socks as a going-away gift. Edward's giving him his favorite handkerchief, and it's sticky from the cum.
And as he tries to kind of dislodge it off him by like kind of waving his hand, it flutters like he's waving the handkerchief. And
John Michael Higgins
in the corner says, well, hello to you too. James, I found the local. That was the most Airplane / Mel Brooks movie kind of reference like I saw in there. Like the idea of like just complete random person in the corner who you completely know who the actor is. Just delivering that one line.
Seth MacFarlane must be pretty well liked in Hollywood, I must say.
It's almost like he makes funny shit and people like generally like being around him.
How do you guys feels today? Let me tell you, Feels is a better way to be. Our premium CBD will keep your head clear and help you feel your best. It reduces anxiety. It reduces pain. It reduces sleeplessness. Feels naturally helps reduce stress, anxiety, pain, sleeplessness. Places a few drops under your tongue and feel the difference within minutes. Are you new to CBD? Well, Feels offers a free CBD hotline to help guide you through the experience. Me personally had a couple of restless nights during this whole pandemic. Wasn't sleeping great. Did a couple of Feels the next day. Boom, out like a light that night. You know, get a little joint pain because I'm getting up there in age. A little Feels CBD under the tongue. Boom, joint pain gone. Greatly reduced. It's so easy to use. It's so good for you. It's just the better way to do your life right now. It will naturally help you feel better. And there's no high, there's no hangover, there's no addiction. You can join the Feels community, get the Feels delivered to your door every single month. You'll save money on every order, and you can pause or cancel at any time. Become a member and get 50% off your first order. 50% off. It has me feeling my very best every day, and it helped you too. 50% off your first order with free shipping by going to feels.com/ding. That's FEALS.com/ding. Become a member. 50% off, taken automatically off your first order with the free shipping. That's feels.com/ding.
Someone bumps into Cheddar at the bar. Now they're bantering about him wanting a drink. He pours Cheddar one, then puts his cigar out in it. Cheddar shoots him and a brawl breaks out. Edward and Seth pretend they're fighting each other to avoid the brawl. Charlize remains calm, keeps drinking. Edward accidentally hits Seth. Two guys are about to fall from the second floor onto Charlize, and that's when Seth tackles her and saves her.
Real meat cute.
Being a sheep farmer is like being a dog walker for 150 really stupid dogs. She says they're in town from Kansas City, Missouri, trying to build a farm. They play fetch with the dog. He brings back a severed hand. It's the mayor's hand.
Call back.
Tells the story of how he met Louise. She became the new school marm because the old one had her throat slit by a fast-moving tumbleweed in front of the kids. Now they're smoking together. There's a Diamondback that rolls up on them. They're trying to stay still while they still have a conversation. She says to stay through the weekend and not leave tomorrow. She'll go with him to the fair to make Louise jealous. Says Louise will be intimidated by her looks.
Smoking hot and has great tits.
Next day, we find out that Cheddar shot the pastor's son and he's in jail. They're probably going to hang him for this. He doesn't care because Liam Neeson will be in town soon. She says one of these days there'll be a man faster, stronger, and tougher than Clinch. That's Liam's character. And she'll celebrate when he loses.
Exposition.
Now they're at the fair. She wants to get her picture taken for the first time. And there's a sign that says photographs made by lightning and God himself. I thought that was funny. Yeah. Charlize tells her of a rumor of a guy in Texas who smiled once during a picture. And Seth is blown away by the story, then believes it's made up. The photographer starts taking pictures, and he and the people being photographed all light on fire and burst into flames.
Flash photography was a dangerous game.
It reminded the two cowboys shoot them to put the fire out.
Stay still
with guns. And it reminded me of Ian Carmel's got this like thing of when he was in Atlanta for the Super Bowl. There was a sign on a restaurant or a bar or something that said, "We don't call 911 here," and it's got pictures of guns.
Oh, really?
And he's like, you need 911 for other things. Like, oh, this place is on fire. Let's shoot him. Oh, grandma's having a heart attack. Let's shoot her. I just love that. I love the idea of like, they're on fire. Shoot them. That'll fix it. It's a good joke. And then we see Mr. Belding makes an appearance.
Yes, as the snake oil salesman.
Trying to sell them tonic and cures they're made out of.
Ogden celebrated stomach bitters. Celebrated by who?
There's cocaine, morphine in them, red flannel, bits of shirt are in there.
Strands of pieces of shirt.
They run into Louise and Foy. Charlize says that she's his new girlfriend and that there's a lot of sexual activity.
Oh, my God.
What?
That's them. That's them. Quick, let's pretend you just said something funny. Oh, my God. You are so hilarious. Where do you come up? No, shit. No, you pretend I said something funny.
Stop.
He says he lives inside her. If they want to send him a letter, they have to address it care of her vagina. Now they're going to this shooting gallery game. And Foy wants to bet a nickel per target. Foy starts making sheep puns. And the shooting gallery is called Runaway Slave.
Is business that bad? You're such a cheapskate. Come on, dear. You can cheer me on. Oh, no, he didn't.
I didn't think the puns were very good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought they were too basic.
Says the guy who said angel hair fucking Western.
Linguini better? The shooting gallery being called Runaway Slaves in the pictures, like, that killed me.
Spoiler alert, again, the scene with Jamie Foxx at the end is because test audiences were made too uncomfortable by the shooting gallery being called Runaway Slave and having little runaway slaves as the thing that you're supposed to shoot. So that's why they added Jamie Foxx to it later.
Foy hits 6 out of 6. Louise kisses him. It's Seth's turn. He goes 0 for 6. Loses 6 pennies to Foy, but Charlize says 6 out of 6 from her means that Foy owes Seth $1. And if she can't, Foy gets the $1.
I've never seen $1.
She guns down all the runaway slaves, and Foy gives him $1, and everyone takes their hat off in reverence to the dollar bill.
There it is. It's beautiful. Take your hat off, boy. That's $1 bill.
Even Ewan McGregor is impressed.
Seth gets mad at Foy making fun of him, challenges him to a duel.
And then Foy says, "Challenge accepted," which is Barney's catchphrase from How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, that's true.
Neither of the writers knew that when they were writing the movie, and during test screenings, they didn't know why audiences were laughing.
Oh, wow.
By the way, when he makes fun of him, he says, "Isn't that a fine how do you do?" Because he makes fun of the fact that his girl does the shooting for him. He says, "Isn't that a fine how do you do?" And everybody starts laughing. And Albert says, "What are you all what's the joke there? What is everyone laughing at?" And he asks Ewan McGregor, "Why are you laughing?" "I don't know. I was laughing because he was laughing," which is the truth about a lot of things, man. People laugh at jokes and they don't know what the joke is. They just see everyone else laughing and they decide to join in.
Especially when it comes to sports media.
Oh boy, don't
at a press conference.
At a press conference, don't make a joke. Oh my God. Come on, Louise. I'll buy you some sugared butter shavings.
The duel will be 1 week from now. Seth can't believe he just did that. He's worried, but Charlize says she's going to teach him how to shoot in a week. She says she's such a good shot because her father was a gun maker. That's why she can shoot. Mr. Belding tries to sell them more stuff, and a bull gores him. And they say, people die at the fair.
People die at the fair.
She's teaching him how to shoot, and he makes about to shoot a full load at your cans joke. He misses everything. She wants to know why he loves Louise, doesn't want him cutting himself down, says that he's a catch. He says he sucks at sheep. One got into the whorehouse last week, and by the time he got to him, it had made $20. She laughed pretty hard at that.
Is this a rom-com?
Yes.
At this point, I asked myself, is this a rom-com?
Yeah.
100%.
It's a Western comedy, but it turns into a rom-com about 30 minutes in.
And she's like all about him, dude. She's pumping him up constantly, like trying to help him win back his ex.
Then it's basically a slow montage of him getting marginally better, but still comically failing. They throw plates in the air at one point. He tries to shoot at it. It hits him in the face. Then we get a callback to a joke about a bird pecking out the blood from his cut.
Doc Harper with a blue jay, baby.
Yeah, Doc Harper, one of my ancestors. He's trying to spin a gun. It fires. It's been a week of training, and she gives him a super secret special cookie. It's a pot cookie. He's afraid of it, takes the tiniest bite. Now they're watching the sunset, and he's paranoid from the cookie. Says his bones are in really deep today. Freaks out over a prairie dog because he thinks they can read his mind. Now we're at the jail. Cheddar Bob takes out the guard. Now we're at a hoedown in the barn. Dancing back then was terrible. It's so much spinning.
Yeah,
right?
A lot of spinning, a lot of switch your partner around and round. And all
yeah.
that.
It's stupid. I hate the West.
This is a scene where she walks up. She's wearing a very old West dress with the thing in the back.
I look like Jane Austen threw up all over me.
Early in the movie, another one was dressed like that, and I said, man, that must have been so tough in the old days to figure out if she got a fat ass or not, man. Walking around like, oh, you get all excited and you open like, no, it's just a dress or whatever. And then literally right as she walks in, I see she's wearing one of those dresses. Like, there goes another one of them. And that's when Seth MacFarlane says, if I was a black guy, this would be the meanest trick you could ever play on me. Like, oh, a nice fat ass. And you lift it up. Oh, it's just a cage. No?
Nah, it didn't really get me.
It wasn't that it was funny so much, it was prescient. I was like, oh my God, he read my mind.
Okay, let's see. She asks if he trusts her. She says he's going to be fine. He'll win the gunfight. Then they put Bill Maher's racist ass as like a stand-up comedy guy on the stage at the hoedown.
I like the wooden cue cards.
Yeah.
But it was just like scalper joke, telegraph joke, Pony Express dick pic joke.
Yeah.
And on his way out, he says, shit crowd.
Yeah, I hate him. I'm out on him. Charlize wants to dance. They run into Foy and Louise. Band leader is now singing about a mustache.
Foy says, care for a last dance? And Albert says, with you? Like, genuinely confused. It's like, no, idiot. Like, oh, yes. The song that the band sings, If You've Only Got a Mustache, that is a real song. The first verse that they sing is the actual first verse of that song.
And it's Stephen Foster, who they reference later. He says, all we got is Stephen Foster music.
You men who long for love, you mustn't all despair. There's a secret you should know to capture the hearts of the fair. You may not have the looks, you may not have the dash, but you'll win yourself a girl if you've only got a mustache, a mustache, a mustache, if you've only got a mustache. You may be common folk without a hint of pride, but you needn't be a king to make any maiden a bride. You may not have the name, you may not have the cash, but you'll make that girl your own if you've only got a mustache, a mustache, a mustache, if you've only got a mustache. You may be big and fat, or uglier than sin. All the ladies shut you out. You're wondering how to get in. Well, here is my advice for how to make a splash. You can have your pick of gals if you've only got a mustache, a mustache, a mustache. If you've only got a mustache, a mustache, a mustache, a mustache. Big mustache, thick mustache, my mustache, your mustache. Say the word mustache. A mustache, a mustache. Now we both have said mustache. A mustache, a mustache, if you've only got a mustache.
Seth bumbles through the dance. Charlize is going to steal a bottle of whiskey so they can get out of there. She puts something in one of the glasses, goes over to Foy and Louise, challenges him to a drinking contest, loses on purpose, then calls Louise an idiot and says, "How can you be so blind with eyes that big?" To which then she says, "They're not that big." And Foy says, "My dear, they're practically Chinese." And she says, "God, I love you."
During the dance sequence, Giovanni Ribisi is doing a seductive hip gyration while sipping on a drink, which is the same move that he does in Ted.
Oh, okay. We'll call back there.
I bet you Seth was just like, do that hip thing.
That line delivery by Foy is so fucking funny, man.
Wait, my dear.
Practically Chinese.
He's such a jerk. This is the actual song, by the way. Here we go. Oh, is it just the instrumental? I guess we don't have any. Oh, I guess it makes sense. We don't have any recorded. My bad.
Right.
I can just clip the song.
From the 1800s?
They had the sheet music.
What did you think was going to happen there? McFly? What did you...
Hello? Think McFly. I don't know. I found
Stephen Foster was just getting in the booth, recording these tracks.
What did you think? I thought we were going to get something from the 1800s?
I thought someone was going to sing it. Like, I don't know.
God, I wonder if we could get, like, some kind of audio of, like, Abraham Lincoln on a podcast talking about the Emancipation Proclamation. When do we get that? Have you ever seen footage of the Civil War?
I have. You see pictures?
That's not
with the Ken Burns effect.
Yeah.
They moved to
move, baby.
Now Seth is being chivalrous to Charlize. Can't get the mustache song out of his head. Can't think of another song because there's only 3 songs that exist and they're all by Stephen Foster. Thanks her for all she's done. He thinks he can win the gunfight now, but he wants to know more about her. She keeps changing the subject. She says that she hates the West as much as he does. He gives her a gift. It's a picture of someone smiling.
Oh, the dude.
The dude smiling in a photograph, yeah. Then they kiss. And when they kiss, I wrote the note. This is why he wrote this movie.
Hell yes.
To kiss Charlize Theron.
Mission accomplished.
Reese Witherspoon was the first pick, and she turned it down, and she was appalled. I want to know what she found appalling about this movie. Maybe it's kissing Seth MacFarlane.
Interesting, because she's been in some weird shit before.
Yeah.
I don't feel like she has standards.
No, she was a pretty big star in 2014.
Like, Charlize got an Oscar.
Charlize, more trivia spoilage, wanted to do this movie so that she could do a comedy. She wanted to work on her comedy chops.
Oh, she wanted to work on the chops. All right. He walks her home. She kisses him again. Cheddar Bob sees it. And as Seth is going home, he sees a light in the shed somewhere. When he walks in, it's Doc Brown working on the DeLorean.
Oh, man.
Doc says it's a weather experiment, and then Seth walks away. Nice little Back to the Future 3 callback.
Great Scott!
Man, every hair on my body stood up, man.
Really?
I love... That was like a really hammer home moment for me. Like, man, you really love Westerns, man.
I think Back to the Future 3 is as good as the other ones.
I don't think it's as good, but it's definitely... I love it. I love it.
It's really, really slept on.
Oh, it's slept on.
This trivia really freaked me out because now I'm starting to think that Seth MacFarlane is a meme because it's a DeLorean time machine replica that was bought and customized by Seth MacFarlane in 2010.
It's my dream. That is legitimately my dream. If I ever make it big and make like millions of dollars, I am going to buy a DeLorean and I'm going to fix it up to look like the DeLorean from Back to the Future. And not only that, I've already identified the shirt, the vest, and the sneakers that Marty McFly wore. Not the ones in 2, not the mag ones, but like the original like Cortez sneakers, whatever. I'm going to buy that whole outfit and I'm going to show up somewhere in that car and stumble out. Like,
and nobody will give a shit.
Oh, I know, but still. When I first had this dream, I was still working for the Suns. So my idea was I was going to show up to work and valet it, like on game night. And just.
They have the DeLorean with the flux capacitor and everything in the Peterson Automotive Museum here in LA. Have you seen that?
I've heard. I think we've talked about this, me and you.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool exhibit. Like they got a bunch of cars from different movies. They got the Batmobile. They have Herbie the Love Bug. They got some cars from Fast and Furious franchise. It's a cool, but the DeLorean looks cool.
Oh, it's the best.
In person. Yeah. Louise wants Foy to call off the gunfight, and then she's chewing on his mustache. He's pumping himself up to get hard.
My social stature is significant. I own my own business. people envy me.
And then his stomach starts gurgling.
Gets the bubble guts.
Yeah, I got the bubble gut.
Oh, that sound.
That sound is rough, man.
I had it this morning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. When I had to do my call.
We've gotten to a point, and I mentioned this to you earlier, but it feels like we've become too comfortable. Maze, like when we're doing radio, Amin will text me often about whether he's just taking a shit or he's going to take a shit.
Yeah, it's weird to be so intimate at such a great distance.
I'm looking at the spreadsheet. I just love that the file has already been, it's
already in there.
It's in blood and stone.
Liam shows up at Charlize's place. Next day, Seth is waiting in the middle of town and Foy is late. He stumbles out and walks towards Seth. His stomach is wrecked. He then walks over to someone, grabs their hat, and shits in their hat. Everyone's horrified. Then he's reaching for another hat, and the guy keeps slapping his hand away.
Gotta admit, I like that.
Tell me you didn't laugh. Like, it's a shit joke, but it's so funny the way he's reaching for the hat.
Yeah.
Very feebly, and he just gets lightly slapped away.
There's not a lot of shit humor I find actually funny.
It's not the shit humor. It's the reaching for the hat.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying is like I actually like this part because he's reaching for the hat. Like the shitting part like does nothing for me, but like him reaching for the hat and the guy slapping his hand away repeatedly was funny.
That's Neil Patrick Harris. So that's that's someone who's good as shit at
right. Yeah. Seth removes his gun belt, says she's all yours, tells Louise he cares about her, but a relationship is a two-way street. Calls Foy a pussy full of hair. Then he clarifies that he wasn't saying Louise has a hairy pussy, but that his mustache hair gets in her pussy when he goes down on her.
This was the most Amin shit of all time right here.
Yeah, it really was.
I got it.
Seth goes to
That's the English teacher, by the way, who says that.
Yeah. Seth goes to the hotel, can't find Charlize, goes to the saloon to talk to Edward. He's concerned she wasn't there at the gunfight. Liam and his posse walk into the saloon. Everyone knows who Clinch Leatherwood is. Clinch wants to know who was kissing his wife. They bring in Charlize and Seth realizes it was him. Clint shoots the wrong guy, says the guy who kissed her needs to meet him at noon tomorrow for a showdown or more people will die.
He shoots Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, I didn't pay attention.
That was Ryan Reynolds, who doesn't say a word.
Just gets shot.
But does a very Ryan Reynolds reaction. He doesn't say a word, but he kind of shrugs and shakes his hands. It is the most Ryan Reynolds reenactment by Ryan Reynolds ever.
Edward says that Seth needs to leave. He's riding out. Clinch and the posse are going to the gold stash, and Liam wants some time alone with Charlize. He slaps her. He wants to know who it was. She says Mark Twain. Calls him stupid. He pulls a gun.
She calls him stupid because he says, really? He fucking bought it.
She says it was Sheriff Brady, but asks not to hurt him. He says that he knows when she's lying. The dog comes up, Plugger comes up, and he threatens to shoot the dog. So she gives up that it was Albert. It was Seth.
Wow. Like, she basically sentenced this man to death to save a dog's life.
Amin, who famously hates dogs, will not understand that.
I don't hate dogs, but that's kind of stupid.
But she gives up Seth. Liam still wants to fuck her. Then she clocks him with a rock, steals his horse, and puts a daisy in his ass crack.
So I had questions because, like, he's going to rape her, right? But they're married. Still rape, right?
Yes, it's still rape. Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. Is that a real question?
Oh wow, Maze.
What?
I don't know. It's 18, whatever. I just had a lot of questions about where the line was in this movie for that.
Back then, yes, it was not rape back then, but we now...
I don't agree. I still think it was.
What, you think back then in the 1880s, a woman could walk into a courthouse and say, my husband just raped me, and everyone would be like, arrest that man?
I don't think it matters if it was the law or not. It's still rape.
We're just saying, like, contextually.
But that's through a modern lens, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's still, like, I agree with you.
Yes. We're not saying that it's okay to rape your wife.
Because then also she says she got married when she was 9.
Hi, I'm Anna. I've been fucking a murderer since I was 10. Wow, he waited a year. What a gentleman. Well, I was a late 9. I rounded up. But to answer your question, Zach, we're not talking about whether it is morally right or wrong. We're talking about back then.
It's definitely morally wrong.
We're not talking about whether it's morally right or wrong.
No, but I'm telling you, it's wrong.
Yes, we know. Thank you. Thank you. You want to tell us to save the whales too and pay the teachers?
Sweep it. We all agree.
Like, don't be that. This is not Twitter, man. Come on. The point is,
I'm getting the exact reaction I wanted.
The point is, back then, like it would have been for her. It would have been just like, man, I had a really tough day at home today.
Do you think that was Liam's actual ass, or was that a butt
Hell
double?
no, definitely a butt double.
It looked too young for a Liam Neeson, like in his 50s ass.
The way Mays said, "Hell no," it's like I've seen Liam Neeson's ass. That is not his ass.
Charlize catches Seth while he's packing up. She apologizes. He says not to waste his time. She said she was trying to protect him and that she likes him. She didn't want to end up like one of those 15-year-old spinsters. He said he loves her, but he's over it. He says he's loved a girl who doesn't even exist. Is your name even Anna, or is it something terrible like Gwendolyn? Like that. She loves him too, but Clinch is riding up. He tells her to escape out the back. She says that Clinch always shoots on two. They can't find him. Liam is yelling for him. He's hiding amongst the sheep. Cheddar is onto him. A sheep starts pissing on Seth's face. Seth makes a break for it on a horse. They fire at him and miss. Now it's a horse chase. I didn't need the sheep piss and the sheep dick. I just don't think it's funny.
Sheep dicks!
That just wasn't funny to me.
There's even a callback to it later.
Down the stretch they come. They're racing for a train. Seth crosses the train tracks before the train, and then he gets on the train. Clinch says that he'll be back. Seth goes far away, is trying to figure out how to make a fire before a rock gets thrown at him and hits him in the head and knocks him out. Now we cut to Edward and Ruth are going to have sex. Clinch being in town has moved them to try it. Ruth shows her vagina and Edward says
my
it looks
God.
like a firecracker wrapped in roast beef.
this is admittedly lowbrow.
It's lowbrow, but it's like, it's perfect Sarah Silverman.
This bit was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Really?
Was the Eddie, Sarah Silverman, Giovanni Ribisi bit.
Yeah, their relationship is probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, their relationship is funny, yes.
He's nervous. Charlize interrupts him. She's hiding from Clinch. Cheddar kicks the door open. He says, please don't shoot us on sex night. Charlize escapes out the window, but Clinch catches her. Native Americans capture Seth and are going to light him on fire, but he stops them by speaking their language. And he knows it because he's a nerd. He's red. They trust him for speaking the language. He tells them what happened. They shame him into doing some drugs. He says Mila Kunis at one point while speaking their language, which meant fine.
Mila Kunis.
He drank the whole thing, and the whole thing was for the tribe. Now he's hallucinating. It's a memory of his birth, his tooth fairy moment when he got horse shit under his pillow instead of money. Abe Lincoln as a guest speaker at their graduation, which is Gilbert Gottfried.
I don't think that's Abe Lincoln.
Hi, you schmucks! 47 years ago, I was broke, just like you. But now I'm the president, and I'm so fucking rich, I can have all the licorice I want. Where's my speaking fee?
I don't think that's the real President Lincoln.
Oh, if any men want to fuck me in the ass, I'll be out by the barn.
The time he got a huge bike and crashed into horses and little people cowboys went after him.
Just like Wild Wild West.
He's having crazy visions about sheep. They're doing the mustache song and dance. He enters a giant door. Inside is Charlize as a bride.
So the voice of the long-limbed sheep guarding the door is Patrick Stewart.
Oh.
Frequent collaborator on Seth MacFarlane vehicles.
A giant condor attacks with Liam's face in it. He kicks it in the balls. Now he's back to the campfire. They knew the vision was going to happen because it means he has true courage. Now it's noon. Clinch is holding Charlize in the middle of town. He strolls up. It's time for a gunfight. They're going to shoot on 3. When Liam says 1, Seth shoots him and hits him in the arm.
New record.
Liam shoots the gun out of his hand. Seth says that his wife taught him to shoot.
Oh.
Seth wants a few last words. He asks him to let her live. He says it's not her fault, but then it's a little her fault. Says he needs to recite the Islamic death chant before dying. He starts chanting and Clinch stumbles and falls.
He's chanting, but he's actually singing Tarzan Boy by Baltimora.
He says there's a million ways to die in the West. Famine, disease, gunfights, and wild animals like snakes. He
said
it! He put venom in a bullet. As he's explaining, it cuts to Ruth and Edward standing over Clinch's dead body, and Ruth interrupts him, tells him he's dead. He's like, did he hear any of that stuff? I'm like, no, I think he's dead. I think he was dead the whole time. Charlize runs to him. They kiss. Edward says he's horny. Ruth says, let's go in the shade and fuck. Louise wants to talk about things and come by his place later tonight. He says he's got to work on himself. He gets reward money for Clinch's body. And now it's a shitload of sheep, and that one is still on the roof. The end. Roll credits, except we're back to the runaway slave shooting gallery. Jamie Foxx walks up, uncredited as Django. He's going to take a shot at the game, but he kills the guy running the game. It says, "People die at the fair."
Did you catch the other Jamie Foxx scene after the credits?
No, I didn't.
He says, "Where are the white women at?" Which is a callback to Blazing Saddles, just so that people don't get fucking confused.
When we were in Vegas, this must have been like 2014 or something like that. We were all at the Hard Rock Hotel Center Bar, which is where we often congregated with Jade Hoy. And I walked up to the group. As I walked up, Jade is drinking out of a Corona bottle. And I yelled to Jade, I said, "Hey, where are the white women at?" And he spit beer into the face of Justin Verrier.
Wow.
So he thought it was funny. Yeah.
Wow.
A legitimate spit take.
Wow, good job, Zach.
Well, every once in a while you get one.
It's one of the great all-time lines in a movie.
There is no Tony medley for this movie, but there is one for Ted.
Let's get it.
If you want to have an idea of what eternity is like, sitting through this movie waiting for it to end gives you a good taste of it. I went to it expecting a charming comedy along the lines of Alf, the 1986 to 90 TV series created by Paul Fusco and Tom Patchett about a creature, an alien life form, who finds himself living with a normal American family. But Ted is as far from Alf as Texas Chainsaw Massacre is from The Sound of Music. Ted is created by Seth MacFarlane, who is responsible for Family Guy, a show I haven't seen, but reliably informed is unfunny and goes out of its way to emphasize poor taste. Ted certainly lives up to that description. I'm disappointed that the talented Mark Wahlberg signed up for this. Wahlberg should know better. Ted is a teddy bear who comes to life when the youthful Mark wishes he would come alive and be his best friend for life. Miraculously, it happens, but as the movie jumps 15 years, the grown-up Ted is a profane, drug-addled punk. Making the story even more ridiculous, Mark has a beautiful, sweet girlfriend of 4 years, Mila Kunis, who placidly puts up with Ted, allowing Mark to put her in a distant second place in his affections. The story is a comic book fantasy. Alf was a comic book fantasy too, in concept. But comic book fantasies, well told with a good moral, can be entertaining. This is not entertaining because of its low moral tone. It is excruciating. Alf was lovable. Ted is hateful. I didn't see it at a media screening, opting instead to see it in a theater with real people in the audience. It seemed to me that the audience was uniformly ready to bolt, jumping out of their seats the minute the closing credits started to roll like the gun had just gone off for the 100-yard dash. I had to sit through it, but nobody else does. Why do you make a fantasy like this about a teddy bear that comes to life and make it with such a low moral tone that no well-meaning responsible parent should drag a young, impressionable child to see it?
He's so over... Like, the idea that Mark Wahlberg is somehow this symbol of purity for him.
Well, what do you think that's from?
Yeah.
Also, Ted is rated R. No one's saying take children to it.
Why are you comparing this to Alf? Which, by the way, Alf was hacky as fuck. If you've never seen Alf, I think it's on Hulu.
I haven't watched it since I was a kid.
Oh, I try to watch. You know how, because now I got my kids, I'm like, oh, this is a show that Daddy used to watch growing up.
Yeah.
I put it on and they're looking, they do that really slow turn and look at me like, really? I'm going to send it to you guys in the chat. Like, literally, the look they gave me midway through the episode, I was like, never mind. Maybe we should watch this. Ever had a 7-year-old judge you for, your...
That's got to be a terrible feeling.
Oh man, but it's not even, it's terrible because it's terrible. Also, it's because they're right.
I like the idea that one of Tony Medley's friends hates Family Guy. I've never watched it, but I have it on good authority.
Yeah.
Can you guess what he gave that one?
4 out of 10.
Maze, do you know?
No. I'll do 0.
1 out of 10.
Wow.
I don't know that he gives zeros, but he gave it a 1 out of 10.
I thought he liked Mark Wahlberg enough to give him some sympathy points there.
One would think, but apparently not.
That's true. He gave Hall Pass a 1, so I feel like Tony might not do zeros, baby.
Spoiler alert, he gave Ted 2 a 1 out of 10 as well. Why would he go back to Ted 2? He hated Ted so much. Why would he go watch it?
My job sucks too.
Yeah. Yeah, you repair shoes.
Trivia, Liam Neeson.
Hold on, I'm going to read this review too.
Oh. Ted 2?
One would think that good-looking, clean-cut, personable writer-director Seth MacFarlane was a person with good values.
What?
But here's what he said on national TV to Bill Maher. I like a good ass fucking as much as the next guy. He is a vulgarian who shows in this film that he represents the worst of Hollywood. Here he presents one stomach-turning crudity after another and represents them as comedy. Filled with F-bombs and ridiculous situations that don't even qualify as sophomore, Ted 2 is an unfunny, vulgar sequel that aims for the lowest common denominator. There are people in this film that would lead one to believe it would be a quality film. People like Mark Wahlberg, Morgan Freeman, and Amanda Seyfried. People I have come to admire as actors. The fact that they would read a script like this and think it is something that they wanted to be a part of lessens my respect for them. Worse, Wahlberg is in fact the producer and prime mover of the film. Why Seyfried jumped in is beyond me, although despite the many films in which the material was good, and she did fine work. Here she has no protection because the material is so squalid. When one is sitting through a movie which presents a teddy bear as a living, intelligent being, I guess the idea of realism has been thrown out the window. No shit. But the situations that McFarlane presents are so beyond the pale that they don't even approach being humorous. There are lots of cameos, but people like Warren Buffett add zero to the film. Jay Leno's contribution is in extremely poor taste. It's hard to believe he would agree to a scene like this.
I love that those are the two cameos that he probably recognized.
Yeah.
Actually, the only humorous scene in the film involves Liam Neeson, so that's 1 good minute out of 115, or a percentage of 0.008 of the film that provides anything that could possibly be referred to as entertainment.
There you go, that's your lowest percentage.
What did...
0.08?
0.008.
Yo, this is my question. Like, what do you think people like that? Like, their lives must be so miserable. It's like all the actors that I respect. Turns out they like doing these crass, crude ass fucking movies.
Let me ask you a question. And maybe this is in poor taste. What kind of porn do you think Tony Medley watches?
Debbie Does Dallas.
Definitely.
Debbie Does, a real classic.
This new porn has nothing on 1970s Debbie Does Dallas.
I think May's answer is probably more... May, you can scrub my answer out, given that we're...
Yes. All right. What do we got for trivia, Maze?
Liam Neeson, who nearly always suppresses his Irish accent when acting, agreed to play the part of Clinch only on the condition that he could use his Irish accent.
That's not an Irish accent, is it? Or am I just...
It is.
Yeah, it's an Irish accent, yeah.
In an interview on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Neeson remarked that he made this demand because of an episode of Family Guy that had previously made a joke out of the juxtaposition of Neeson playing a cowboy with an Irish accent.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
I mean, do you remember that?
The Family Guy episode? Yes. It's the episode where Peter basically talks a lot of shit about Liam Neeson, and then turns out Liam Neeson's shooting a movie in Quahog, and they go to the set, and then Liam Neeson kicks his ass. I mean, like, beats the shit out of Peter.
The long-legged sheep in The Drug Trip are a visual reference to Salvador Dali's The Temptation of St. Anthony. And Seth MacFarlane wrote his first book, a companion novel based on the film's script, on weekends during shooting, partially due to boredom.
Oh. Salvador Dali, my favorite artist.
Name another.
Tony Medley.
Certainly an art.
Tony Medley is like definitely a Van Gogh. He will not be appreciated in his time.
Do you know, I can't believe we found Tony Medley in the second episode of this podcast.
It's amazing.
You can thank Nick Cage for that, by the way.
Remember when we wanted to have him as a guest before we realized he had very problematic kind of life views?
Before we realized I don't think he would like a mean.
I still want him as a guest.
I want to see him at fucking Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or something. Like, I live 5 minutes from his neighborhood.
Luca Lake.
It's a Luca Lake, baby.
It's another lake, Zach.
Golden Dumpster nominees. Sarah Silverman is Ruth the foul-mouthed prostitute. My man, the old prospector, talking to his dog. Plugger, gonna get you some steaks. Neil Patrick Harris is Foy. Bill Maher's topical stand-up. That's a bad one. Seth MacFarlane as a leading man. Giovanni Ribisi's hip gyration, and Gilbert Gottfried as Abraham Lincoln.
I would also add Alex Borstein.
You know, I had her in there because I thought she was coming back. I mean,
she killed it. And those 2 lines or whatever she had, she absolutely destroyed it.
She was so fun. I know, like, the Miss Swan character now is, like, completely, like, you shouldn't do that. You couldn't do that today. But, like, everything else she did on Mad TV, she was fucking funny.
She's just great, period.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that the world is recognizing how talented she is with Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah, she's so good.
Golden Dumpster for me. I like going with scenes. I'm trying to think, when did I laugh the hardest? And I think for me, it's going to be the scene where he says, our pastor shot 2 people. Shot a guy in a duel, then went back and killed a teenage son for fear of revenge. How do you know? Because he did a fucking sermon on it. That's my nominee right there.
I know it's a racist line, but when Neil Patrick Harris says, my dear, they're practically Chinese.
They're practically Chinese.
Like, that's the funniest line in the movie to me. Just the way he delivers it kills me. Absolutely kills me.
It was a little diminished when I remembered that he also did it in Ted, but it's going to be Giovanni Ribisi's hip gyration while sipping on the drink.
I just remember the hat reach one.
Oh, the hat reach?
I might go with Neil Patrick Harris.
Are you changing Neil Patrick Harris?
I think so, yeah. Like, just because everything he did, all the lines, and then the hat reach probably put it over the top. Just because it's such a feeble reach. The first 4 times.
So it comes to me. I'd already seen this movie. I didn't like it before. I watched it again yesterday. I was very bored. I was already mad at Amin. This is a very indulgent movie for Seth MacFarlane. This is just, he's made it, and he can make a Woody Allen movie where he's in love with a beautiful woman and she's paying him compliments and fawning all over him. It had some funny parts, but it was also 2 hours long. There was also a lot that wasn't funny, and I'm gonna phobe it.
You're a fucking hater.
Wow.
You like Hot Rod?
Wow.
You thought this movie was boring? You like Hot Rod?
You don't need to talk to me about movies that I like that you hated a year ago. We're cool with that. I'm already pissed at you, and I'm already pissed at, your percentages after doing these analytics. It's a phobe.
What's wrong with my percent? My percentages are the average.
It's too high.
What's too high? You're talking to a guy who has a 93% self-approval rate.
Wait, why are you taking a shot at me?
Because you're trash.
I'm trash?
You are a trash person.
This movie's too long. It's a phobe.
By the way, Mayes filed.
Phobe it. Phobe it, Mayes.
Mayes filed Pluto Nash, by the way. Just want to throw that out there.
I had a great time.
He thought this movie was boring, and he filed
future callback.
Fucking Pluto Nash.
I will say this. I probably wouldn't watch it again. I'd watch a supercut of Neil Patrick Harris. I think the first rant that Seth MacFarlane goes on is funny, but it's a long. Comedy should not be more than 90 minutes.
At least half the movie is just him and Charlize, and pretty much all those scenes sucked.
I get that. I get that though.
Zach sat there and laughed the entire goddamn movie, and then he goes "Oh yeah, it was just too much."
No, I didn't laugh the entire movie.
What were the jokes that you didn't find funny?
All of the piss, shit, and fart jokes, aside from the hat pull. That's half the movie.
Wait, the one where his father's got the fart needles.
Yeah, that's not funny.
Oh no, but it's not about the fart needles. It's about him obviously hating his father. But pretending that's the reason why he has to go. Okay, I want to spend more time with my dad. Oh, I just love him so much. You didn't laugh at that?
Nah, because he was annoying in that moment. His sarcasm was not funny to me.
You guys are just look.
And you took a shot at me for no fucking reason. That's a phobe.
Fuck you guys. This movie was.
I was on the fence. This is your doing.
This movie, I would absolutely watch this movie. If it came on right now, I'd sit and watch. Depending on what part. I won't lie. It does lose steam.
Yeah.
Somewhere after the hoedown, the jokes become fewer and farther between. But that first hour of the movie is nonstop. It's laughing the whole time.
First 40 minutes are good, but man, it slogs. It really does. My pick next week?
Yeah. Say it.
I've been waiting to do this one.
What's that?
I've been waiting to do this.
Why are you laughing? Why you sound like an actor in fucking Ghost Rider?
This one is on HBO Max. It is regarded as one of the worst comic book movies, one of the worst movies ever. Well, we're going to see if it's actually good. We're doing the 2004 comic book movie starring Halle Berry. Catwoman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, this has been circling the waters for a while.
This has been the blood's been in the water for a while. Yeah. We're doing Catwoman, baby.
Oh, I already know. Just let Ricky know he can cut the basketball scene right now. Yep. There is no other scene.
Next time we make love, you introduce me to Jay.
Yeah. Get that video ready.
Are you mad at me because I asked about your breakup?
No, motherfucker, I'm mad at you because I listened to fucking 2 podcasts where you trashed Hamilton, and I'm still not over it.
The Hamilton is garbage.
Because you couldn't learn the fucking characters' names, even though every single character comes out and says, I am so-and-so.
No, they don't.
No,
they don't. No, they don't. They absolutely do not.
I watched it. Every single character.
I watched it too.
First line they say is, my name is fucking Hercules Mulligan. My name is fucking John Lawrence. My name is Eliza. They all fucking say it.
Angelica, Eliza, and Peggy, the Schuyler sisters. Angelica, Peggy, Eliza,
Hardfolk. We did once on the Dad Pod, and then we brought it back on Bomb.
And then Amin ran it back. He ran back the same material for BOMM. He did rapidity. That's all they were doing the whole time.
Is that not how they rap? Or did I miss the part where they actually have a flow?
No, they actually switch flows. Did you catch the part where they reference Mobb Deep and B.I.G.?
Yes, the 10 Crack Commandments. I caught the references. I didn't like lose my shit and roll over the floor like, oh my God, they reference songs that I know. No, it was.
They said
it. Yeah, I didn't do that. I rolled my eye.
I'd already seen this movie and I already didn't like it, so it was an uphill climb regardless, but you could have picked 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I would have phobed it this week.
Schindler's List. I won't do that one.
Next April Fools, we'll have Adnan on. We'll do Schindler's List.